Today's video was recorded at the Copus Massacre Monument located in Mifflin Township, Ohio. This is part 2 of a two-part investigation conducted by Samantha, Kayla, and I during the fall of 2021. Actually, there was a third video recorded that night at the Copus Massacre Monument titled Playing with Ghosts. If you haven't yet seen it, you may wish to place it on your important things to do list. In any event, I took this photograph of the Copus Massacre Monument during the summer of 2020. The Copus Massacre Monument was erected in 1882 to honor James Copus and his family and neighbors who were killed by Native Americans at this spot back in 1812. This is a photograph taken on the day the monument was dedicated, which I found on the internet several years ago. Included in the picture was then 83-year-old Sarah Copus, who at the age of 13 years escaped through the roof of the cabin and ran for help. For a lengthy account of this horrific and courageous battle, please watch part 1. EVP stands for Electronic Voice Phenomenon. Paranormal investigators, also known as ghost hunters, have found that ghosts can sometimes communicate with us through electronic recording devices such as digital recorders and video recorders, which cannot be heard in real time but can be heard when we listen to them upon review. EVPs are different from disembodied voices, which are voices that can be heard in real time, but we cannot see the entity doing the talking. This is my digital recorder, which I purchased in 2019. Unfortunately, my hearing is so bad from years of qualifying with firearms and working in noisy factories without hearing protection that I normally cannot hear EVPs. So I usually put Samantha in charge of recording and listening to the EVPs when she accompanies us. This is a very tedious task because she has to listen and re-listen to the recordings. I do not envy her one bit. As you'll see in the following clip, Samantha informed me that she had been recording from the time we got out of the car, so she had a lot of recordings to go over. You want to try to do the digital recorder or the thermal thermometer?
I have the digital recordings.
Oh, do you? Oh, you've been recording it all along?
Since we got out, since we got out of the car.
You got a long time to listen.
Yep.
Talk into that box she's got in her hand. Tell her a joke so that when she's listening to this, she'll have something to laugh at. Apparently, the ghost didn't tell Samantha any jokes, but a few days later, she informed me that she did capture several EVPs. I solicited the help from my friends Ben and Caitlin to decipher what the EVPs Samantha captured were saying. Let's take a listen. Can you hit any of those? Can you hit any of those? Can you? Can you?
Yep. Yep. You want me to move the flashlight or not?
My flashlight isn't coming on.
You want me to move the flashlight or not?
My flashlight isn't coming. As previously mentioned, it's not always easy to decipher what EVPs might be saying. My friends Ben and Caitlin have reviewed the next several recordings captured by Samantha and were unable to determine what, if anything, was said. I'm including them here anyway, just in case one or more of the viewers can make out what was possibly said by the spirits at the Copus Massacre monument. Even though my hearing is terrible, in some of them, even I can hear a faint whispering when I turn the volume all the way up. I just can't make out what was said. Regardless to what may be being conveyed, I find them all amazing because common sense tells us that since there was nothing there, we shouldn't hear anything, as voices and whispers cannot just manifest from out of thin air. So if you have a guess at what the following possible EVPs might be saying, please note it in the comments section below, including the possible EVP number. Samantha captured the following possible EVP while I was reading the story about the massacre from the Ashland Historical Society. It's hard to hear under my talking. Were the spirits agreeing with the story or making corrections to it?
Headed toward the Zillner place, he alerted Mr. Ruffner, who made headed toward the Zillner place, he alerted Mr. Ruffner, who made
The following audio was recorded while Samantha and I were conducting a dowsing rod session. The viewer will have to listen particularly closely, as it is my understanding that the possible EVP occurs between Samantha and me talking.
Can you go ahead and cross them if there's anybody with us? Are they crossing?
Slowly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can you open back up so we can ask another question? Can you open them back up, please? Can you go ahead and cross them if there's anybody with us? Are they crossing?
Slowly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can you open back up so we can ask another question? Can you open them back up, please?
As with the last audio, this following possible EVP was recorded during a dowsing rod session conducted by Samantha and me.
Can you open the rods up and we'll ask another question? Can you open the rods up and we'll ask another question?
Danny, yep. Danny, yep.
John Philip, I'm hearing things. Like what? Whispers, but I can't make it out. Like right behind you. John Philip, I'm hearing things. Like what? Whispers, but I can't make it out. Like right behind you.
Sometimes, when we're investigating, we run out of things to say or ask the spirits, and over the past few years, it's become an ongoing fallback to ask the spirits if they like my hats. and to the dismay of a lot of my ghost hunting friends, the spirits all seemed to like them. In the following clip, Samantha is operating the dowsing rods while I ask questions, and I had just asked the spirit we were communicating with to cross the rods if he liked my hat, and it did. But Kayla claimed to have heard a no.
Odds if you like my hat.
Oh,
You like my hat, see? Spirits all like my hat.
I heard a no, Joe.
Huh?
I heard a no.
Hey, you're hearing things. We asked him to cross. We didn't ask him to say anything.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and do something I've never done before by asking the viewers to respond in the comments if they like or do not like my hats. Presuming that most of the viewers are in the realm of the living, it'll be interesting to compare the taste of the dead with that of the living. As I recall, a ghost at the Crybaby Bridge last year stated she loved my hat. So go ahead and vote now by leaving a comment. The Necrophonic Spirit Box is a relatively inexpensive phone app that can be purchased and used while ghost hunting. I know a few people, including Samantha, who have purchased it and have had interesting results. Samantha brought hers with her the night she, Kayla, and I visited the Copus Massacre monument. When my friend Ben watched my video, Copus Massacre Monument Part 1, he informed me that he heard voices come through Samantha's necrophonic app, which we didn't acknowledge or mention, which would indicate we did not hear it at the time, or at least I did not hear it while putting the video together. That, of course, is not surprising due to my poor hearing, which I've already discussed. Ben advised me that at approximately 6 minutes and 43 seconds into the video, when Samantha asked if the Copus family was with us, he heard a female voice say no, and at 48 seconds, the word Copus came through. Let's take a listen.
Is it the Copus family that's here? Cross for yes.
Ben also informed me that at approximately 7 minutes and 15 seconds, Samantha and Kayla were correct in saying that they heard a voice say my name, Joe. And at approximately 7 minutes and 30 seconds, as I was asking the spirit the girls had heard to light the K2 meter up if it had said Joe, a whispery voice said, "Get out."
I heard it say Joe.
Me too.
Are you talking through the necrophonic app?
Did you say Joe? Say it again. Light the meter up if you said Joe.
Admittedly, I could not hear many of the 14 EVPs and or possible EVPs presented in this video, even when I turned the volume all the way up. But the few that I could hear after turning up the volume are enough to give me pause. Are the EVPs proof of ghosts in the afterlife? I don't know. What else could explain it? My digital recorder is just that, a recording device made for businessmen to dictate letters to their secretaries, or for college students to record their professors so they can supplement their notes and re-listen to lectures. How do these voices seemingly manifest out of thin air? And the last few that Ben pointed out to me after listening to part 1 gave me an entirely different perspective on our visit to the Copus Massacre Monument that night. Here I had thought it had been a pretty pleasant visit. After all, the ghosts liked my story, the ghosts knew my name, the ghosts lit the K2 meter up to verify it had said my name. We even played a game tossing wooden coins, which can be seen on my video titled Playing with Ghosts. And now I find out the ghost told me to get out. What next? They don't really like my hats? This is the hat-wearing ghost hunter Joe saying happy hunting and see you next time.